Take a few minutes to annoy some jokes from ChatGPT. 1. A young boy enters a barber shop and the barber whispers to his customer, "This is the dumbest kid in the world. Watch while I prove it to you." The barber puts a dollar bill in one hand and 2 quarters in the other, then calls the boy over and asks, "Which do you want, son?" The boy takes the quarters and leaves. "What did I tell you?" said the barber. "That kid never learns." Later, when the customer leaves, he sees the same young boy coming out of the ice cream store. "Hey, son. May I ask you a question? Why did you take the quarters instead of the dollar bill?" The boy licked his cone and replied, "Because the day I take the dollar, the game is over." 2. Two guys stole a calendar. They got 6 months each. 3. Why was the computer cold? Because it left its windows open. 4. A runner is training for a marathon when he comes across a genie who offers to grant him one wish. The runner thinks for a moment, then says, "I wish I could run the marathon in under 2 hours." The genie grants the wish and the runner sets off to run the marathon. He runs as fast as he can and crosses the finish line in just under 2 hours. The runner is thrilled and thanks the genie for his help. The genie says, "No problem. But before you go, I have one more wish to grant." "What do you want this time?" The runner says, "I wish I could run the marathon in under 1 hour." The genie says, "Are you sure? That's a pretty big wish. It's going to be a lot of hard work and training." The runner says, "I'm up for the challenge. I really want to be the fastest marathon runner in the world." The genie grants the wish and the runner sets off to train for the marathon. He works hard every day and finally, on race day, he crosses the finish line in just under 1 hour. The runner is ecstatic and thanks the genie again for all of his help. The genie says, "You're welcome. But before you go, I have one last wish to grant." "What do you want this time?" The runner says, "I wish I had a cold beer right now." The genie says, "I'm sorry, but I can't grant that wish. You're a runner, not a quitter." 5. Two hydrogen atoms meet. One says, "I've lost my electron." The other says, "Are you sure?" The first replies, "Yes, I'm positive." 6. A mathematician, a physicist, and an engineer are all stranded on a deserted island. They come across a can of beans, but they don't have a can opener. The mathematician says, "Let's assume we have a can opener and try to open the can using this assumption." The physicist says, "Let's try to use the laws of physics to create a friction force strong enough to open the can." The engineer says, "Let's take a rock and bash the can open." The next day, the mathematician is still sitting on the beach, assuming they have a can opener. The physicist is trying to create friction using 2 sticks. The engineer is happily eating beans. 7. A man walks into a bank and asks the teller for a loan. The teller asks him how much he needs and the man replies, "I need $1,000 to buy a new watch." The teller asks, "What kind of watch are you looking to buy?" The man replies, "It's a new time-saving watch. It helps me save time by not having to worry about what time it is all the time. I can just look at my watch and know exactly how much time I have left to do whatever I need to do." The teller thinks about this for a moment and then asks, "But if you're saving time by not having to worry about the time, won't you have more time to do things and therefore not need to borrow as much money?" The man replies, "Well, that's the thing. I need to borrow the money to buy the watch so I can have more time to make more money to pay off the loan." The teller nods and says, "I see. Well, in that case, I'll have to charge you interest on the loan." The man asks, "How much interest?" The teller replies, "Time is money, so we'll charge you 10% interest per hour." The man thinks about this for a moment and then says, "Okay, I'll take the loan. But can I have it in cash instead of a watch?" The teller smiles and says, "Sure thing. That way, you can use the cash to buy a watch that tells the time instead of a time-saving watch." 8. Why was the astronaut feeling depressed? Because he was in a deep space. I hope you got a laugh from at least one joke. If you hit like, you will see more.